It's time for Raid Shadow Legends, and we are going to be talking about the next fusion event. What button is that? That button there?
That button.
Lysanthir Beastbane.
We practiced.
Okay, tell me how to say it.
Lysanthir.
Lysanthir?
I
I think
think.
Gryffindor.
Hufflepuff.
He's blind. He's legendary. Okay.
That's all you need to know.
Well, apparently we read the lore, and he's blinded because of the Hydra, and he's
They ate his eyeballs.
and so we're going to go over his kit, and most of the conversation today is going to be whether or not he is worth it, right? So that's what we're going to talk about. If you haven't done so already, click the link in the description or scan the QR code right now on the screen, and you will get Karuto, Fox Hunter, which is a legendary, and then Ugo when you get to level 15. And just as important, as soon as you log into the game, and well, when the first 24 hours, this is kind of important because this only works in the first 24 hours of playing Raid Shadow Legends. Monkey King, one word to get Sun Wukong, who is amazing.
So good.
And then throughout this month, starting on the 25th, and then I'm in the way, but if you log in every day between the 25th and the 24th, they actually are the 10th through the 4th of May. We don't know how. Ugo Artor, is somebody saying the name right?
Udex Artor.
Udex Artor. I'm never going to get the names right, but anyways.
Smelly balls.
Yeah, oh my God. What does that mean? I don't understand.
Purple.
What?
Smelly balls.
Oh my God. Oh, I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't even know. All right. So you did your first fusion last month, right?
I got Fabian.
Fabian, which is amazing.
Yes.
Fabian's amazing.
Yes.
And so inside of Raid Shadow Legends, especially people that are trying to min-max their resources, they have to make decisions on whether or not to go for the fusions because it requires saving up resources and
a lot of time.
And then also it's uncertain what resources are going to be required, and a lot of times for most people it's a big drain on their shards. And so if people are buying shards, I think the fusions are a lot easier, but for people that are min-maxing the resources, it can be quite a challenge. So we're going to read the kit, and then we're going to independently of each other kind of come to a decision on whether or not we're going to go for this, and we'll talk about the pros and cons. So this is a new mixed fusion event starting on April 7th, and then we're just going to read it. Next Monday, April 7th, we're planning on launching mixed fusion event of a new champion, Lysanthir Beastbane, faction High Elves, legendary, defense Infinity Spirit, and Lysanthir Beastbane is a Hydra damage dealer specializing in countering, devour, and rescuing allies that will also benefit from some accuracy stats to be able to place debuffs. I feel like every character in this game needs accuracy and speed. It's like,
I was just going to say, he needs accuracy?
Well,
Shocker.
yeah, I mean, I think if there's a character that doesn't require accuracy, that's a thing, but have you been getting good perception gear out of the Forge?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm pretty decent with it.
Yeah, it's just like perception gear is so important. So let's read the passive first.
Why do you do the passive first? I always notice that.
Because it always happens. Does that make sense?
Yes,
it
does.
always happens,
I like
right?
that. Okay.
Oh, but I guess before the passive, increase ally defense in all battles by 28%. He is a defense-based damage dealer, which usually makes them a little bit more tanky. I mean, that's typically, all right. And then Survivalist Supreme will ignore life barrier and ally protection buffs. Increases this champion's defense by 5% for each active buff on this champion. Stacks up to 50%. And I've got 2 epic characters that are like revivers, buffers that boost defense up. And the damage ramps up when they get the defense buff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
Oh, 'cause they're-
on a defense-based damage character. So I use a character that I don't know how the name is called Mitch. I just call him Mitch, but he's the green skeleton dude.
Yeah.
And he gets so much more damage inside of not Hydra. Well, I use him in Hydra, but yeah, because of getting boosted up with Ursula. So, anyways, there's another one. I think Mausoleum Mage. But anyways, there's a lot of characters that do that. So this is going to pair up well with a character that puts defense up. Okay,
Right.
so, and also this should make getting through the devoured mode easier. Okay, so Rune Snares. Okay, attacks all enemies 2 times. Each hit has a 75% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff and a 25% weaken debuff for 2 turns. If a target is under hex debuff, places the debuff before attacking. And then, of course, this looks like it's a 5-turn cooldown, but then by the time you get to level 6, it's a 3-turn cooldown. And then it's going to move up another 25%, so it'll have a 100% chance. Why does it matter if it hits before attacking?
You're asking me because I asked you this before the video.
Well, I want to make you look smart.
It makes me look so smart. So it took me a second to figure it out, but you said if you can place the weaken debuff beforehand, that reduces their defense, or they take more damage?
They take more damage,
They take more damage. So if
you're going to do more
they have
damage.
the hex debuff, they're going to get the decreased speed and the weaken debuff, and then they'll do more. His 2 attacks will hit harder.
A large percentage of the bosses are immune to decreased speed, so that's not going to be always useful, but it's still pretty good against certain types of bosses for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so that is Rune Snares. Then this is kind of interesting. Wily Hunter, also on a 5-turn cooldown that can be reduced to a 3-turn cooldown. Attacks 1 enemy 2 times, has a 20% chance of repeating this attack. So there is a relic. What do they call the relic things, the
gemstones.
Gemstones that gives them a 10% extra turn meter every time they take an extra turn. That might be interesting on him.
Yeah.
20% of repeating the attack. When this champion counterattacks or teams up with allies to attack an enemy, we'll use this skill instead of the default skill. So I've got a couple characters that do that, like the fat guy. He's called Farakin the Fat is his name.
Yeah.
The damage inflicted with his skill increases by 10% each time an ally is devoured, stacks up to 50%. So he's going to be like in Hydra. If the match goes along, the guy will come in and gobble him up, and then you got to get through the green bar. This will help getting through the green bar right here, and his damage will ramp up. So. I don't know what to say. This is like Hydra. I mean, there's really. I think that's all this is a Hydra character. And let's go to the basic or A1. I always want to call it basic, special, ultimate.
I do
A1, A2, A3, passive. Fine. Attack 1 enemy 2 times. This first hit has a 75% chance to place hex debuff on the target for 2 turns. Places a 30% increase crit damage buff on this champion for 2 turns. And then
it's just increased damage, buff, and debuff chance.
Yeah, so this ramps up to 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, what do you think about the champion?
I mean, are you asking me what do I think, or would I get him?
Are you going to go for him?
No.
Nope. Okay.
I am burned out from Fabian. I like my account is not one where I can just do a bunch of. I can't do the fusion every single time one happens. It would be really nice for me to have another Hydra character, especially one that is specifically designed for Hydra. But I don't think I have the champions that work in conjunction with him, so I don't know if I would get as much out of him as somebody like you would.
Yeah, and I gotta say that is what I'm hearing across the board.
Yeah.
From everybody I'm talking to is like, ooh, kind of, like I read his kit and I'm like, okay. Like, so I'm in a little different position. So I have some characters that are defense and hex based already, and I'm guessing this will be really good in Hydra.
Yeah.
And then also Hydra is a pain. It's very, when we talk about the clan bosses, which is Demon Lord, Chimera, Hydra.
Yeah.
Even though Chimera is newer, it's quite a bit different, easier. Yeah, then Hydra, and the Hydra rewards are very, very good, especially the artifacts that it comes in there, that, you know, and then the legendary. I'm almost ready to get the legendary unlocked. So the other thing too about Hydra is that it is 3 teams of 6, where Clan Boss is just a 5-man team, Chimera is a 5-man team, unless you're going for the different bonuses, but Hydra is 6 times 3, 18 characters, and for me, this guy easily would be one of my best 18 characters.
Could you see which team he would fit into?
Yeah, no, I've got a Hex team, which is Mad Hatter, Michikari. I don't know how to say his name. His name is Mitch.
Green Skull guy.
Green Skull guy, right? And so those 3, and then 3 other supports. So it'd be like, maybe I need a reviver, and then I need a cleanser, and then I need somebody else, right? But it would be those 3, and then depending if the blue head guy is in the rotation, then I'm gonna need somebody that puts perfect veil, so maybe I'd use Rector Drath, whatever. So yes, I think I could use him, and I do think I have the resources and the energy and the time to pursue him. I do, because I've been stockpiling, and I don't think that most people I think most people are stretched for Fabian. Also, I only did the 3 reds on Fabian. I could not get all the way through to the 5-step. But this guy is not obviously good outside of Hydra, but I need help in Hydra. So I'm inclined to try it. So I will wimp out on this, though. Like, you know how, I'll tell you, well, you know how they have, they push out the schedule, and then they put the most insane dungeon divers you've ever seen in your life. And then you're just like, you can't get through it or whatever, right? But I have gems saved up, I've got crystals saved up, I'd probably be okay. But like, I skipped SMA, and I started with SMA, and I was like, I'm going, and I wasn't sure about her either. And then I gave up. Now what people generally tell me is that getting a guaranteed legendary through a fusion is sometimes good, just in case later you pull a duplicate of this legendary, then that goes into your faction guardians.
Absolutely.
So there are people that are going to go for it, but I think if you're stretched, I don't, this is not like obviously insane from my initial take, so.
And plus, where my account is currently at, I need champions that work in all areas. I don't really have a need for champions that work in one single area. I kind of need a bunch of characters for a bunch of places.
So everybody's telling me it's Michinaki.
Michinaki.
I call him Mitch. Michinaki.
My buddy Mitch.
No, he's actually probably my most useful character in my entire roster. I use him like everywhere.
I see him pop up a lot in suggested teams, especially for Hydra.
Yeah, well, he's bonkers in Hydra. He's bonkers in Spider. I use him on my clan boss. He's he's bonker, and actually in Doom Tower it gets really hard towards the end. He's like my only damage dealer, and I'm running him with 4 supports, and he's the damage dealer. He's good. Okay, so we're gonna wrap up the video. Like I said at the beginning of the video, if you have not downloaded Raid Shadow Legends yet, use the link in the description or scan the QR code, and you're gonna get these 2 free characters. Karuto was a legendary, and then Ugo was an amazing support character. Get him at level 15, and then there are 2 more legendaries you should have relatively easy access to. Monkey King, first 24 hours. And so you can do that on Android and PC pretty easily. On iPhone, you have to go to the Plarium site.
But that link is going to be in the description.
So you have to use but big deal. You can only use 1 code per 24 hours, and you got to do this one in the first 24 hours. And then if you get started before the 10th of April, you're good to go for the calendar. This applies to everybody right here. Like if you don't, this stuff the other stuff we just talked about is for new players. This is for everyone.
So if you haven't opened up your account in a while, it's an incentive to go back in if you want.
Okay, bye for now.
Bye.